Hey guys, what's going on? So currently looking at the DXY, you can see that we have moved away from this value area here and we're getting a small little push up. It is a bit premature now to be looking for a buy, but there is the possibility of a first 5-minute flag here. This could be the beginning of a massive run. So I think personally, if you are going to be taking an entry, definitely have to be cautious that we can still drop off. But this could be the beginning of a bigger move. We are coming off the bat of this as well. So I think the nice thing about this is that, this price is now sort of correctively pushed back down. We're not getting any commitment, doing retrace from there. That is basically what I'm looking at. However, we have to understand this can sell off to the downside. Correlating it with Euro USD, we can see that with Euro USD, we did also get a tight flag over here where the entry was applicable. Comes with a bit more risk as well, understandable, but you could have taken that with a 10 easily, maybe add a little bit extra for a little bit of extra room to breathe. But given how the DXY was shaping up, being in this value area, that was a possibility, not really what I was looking for, but we had the push away, which I think is extremely good. So this could be the start. This could actually be a part of the 15-minute that we're looking at. So we could consolidate here for a while before we sell off. But understandable, we are in this territory now here where we could get our next flag. And we've cleared this price here, which I do like, the fact that we've cleared this. And we could commit a bit more to the low side. Remember, this is a massive trade. This is huge. We've actually kind of come up with the M star. We've actually come in here with a 1, 2, 3. Even though we haven't completed this structure, we don't have to. We've come into the override, nice equal spacing, scooped, tapped into it, and then we squeezed again. If I go into the 1 hour, we can see that nice little arc of 101 in itself. So understand that in itself. There's a 1 hour retrace still there, but by the time you watch this video, we've probably already moved. GBP USD as well, likewise, looking very nice. I think if we do get that break, we start pushing down. That's where we're going in, but we've got a long way to go. This could just create something a bit more complex and push higher. Next one is yen. Didn't quite get it. We were moving quite aggressively. It started off quite nice. We pushed, but then we kind of tapped into this value area and we're coming back up. It's a very corrective area. Don't want to be FOMOing. Some people might have opted in for this trade here. In my eyes, it's very risky. I think waiting for it to clear this price, create a clear, little bit of a larger 15 to 1 hour flag, more 1 hour over here, be inclined for the sell. New Zealand US dollar, I think we are exhausting, but we're getting these sort of flags push, flag push, flag push. So flag push, flag push, flag push, flag push, and next flag push. So more so, I'll just carry on with the continuation of this, but understandable, we do have this 1, 2, 3 into this area. If we do get a significant push lower, then I would maybe possibly looking for it, but I would want to clear this low where we have this dotted ray line. I think that's more so, and then I'll look at this point here and the next point there. We're just pushing above now, but we can clearly push back in. Aussie New Zealand dollar, not yet got much on it, not really much for watch right now. I'm looking for this to just kind of complete what it has to do. Possibly we kind of correct into this low and then we push up. Who knows? I mean, at this point, it's not looking too good. I am just waiting for something larger to be created. The next one is EuroCAD. I think EuroCAD was one that I kind of just let go. It was definitely there for the trade. It's just, I'll tell you why I didn't want to take it. There's always this that is a possibility, and I think looking at it like that, this could turn into a middle section. It's not my typical middle section, I'll be honest with you, and it's probably very probable that we do sell off. So that is something that you have to understand as well. But we do have this internal structure here where we kind of pushed down, we created this flag, but it's not the cleanest. It's not really something that kind of jumped out to me, but the trade would have been right here. And yeah, I'd be running over 1%, so I'd be locked in, break even at this point, and then managing. But I think with this trade, it did come with a bit of risk. Understandable, this could turn to a head and shoulders as well. Yeah, I mean, it just didn't really feel right for me. So I opted not to take it, but there's a clear run from here to this low. For me, it was about 5%. I think when I looked at it, it just wasn't something I wanted to take at that point. So I think the 1 hour retrace was the 5% trade. So yeah, about 7% there. And then with the 1 hour retrace, you're looking at it roughly around about here, which comes to about 4 something odd percent. Wasn't really something that I wanted to put 1% risk on at this point, so just left it out. Wildcards, Aussie yen, still looking at this to either impulse back down, create a flag, or create something a little bit larger to move to the upside. In terms of target wise, we are in for some treats. We have some corrective price here, but definitely probably going to be looking at price just extending, doing whatever it has to do before it does come lower. Of course, we're very corrective on the way up. We've only recently started impulsing quite aggressively, but at the end of the day, we can turn around quickly and sharp. So position yourself and be sharp with management on that one. The next one is New Zealand CAD. New Zealand CAD actually tapped into its value area, which is nice. We had a nice 15-minute retrace over there, and now we're pulling back in. The only thing that I didn't like about it is that we didn't really get any sort of continuation. I guess there was this bit of a flag here, and this one kind of went missed to me actually, this one over here. So if you look at it like that, it's definitely got some room there. It is creating some of these smaller tight flags. Would be looking for something more on the 15 now, kind of with a bit more depth, but that's looking quite nice. Really and truly, I don't think that's too bad, but what am I trading into? I want to see it. I'm looking for a long position at this point, so I would like to see this push higher. But in any means, if this does turn into something a bit larger, I'll take a message from the market at that point, and then we'll just have to wait and see what happens. So looking at it now, it doesn't look too bad at all. We just have to basically be very patient with this one and see what happens. If we do get that larger flag, like I said, we'll take a message from the market and see what happens. If we push up and we do create a flag above this ray line, once again, we'll take a message from the market. Would I want to position myself on this chart right now? Not really. Not with a bull high test. Not what I'm looking for. I want to see some commitment. If we do push down, create a flag, then yeah, okay, sure, I could take that to this low, but we'll have to wait and see. Of course, we have to know, are we trading into this as well? You know, this is also something that we have to understand. So I'll have to evaluate it carefully soon, but there was definitely some good trades in there. USD yen, yeah, I mean, look, the DXY is going up bullish right now. We're seeing that bullish momentum across the board. You know, I think it's no surprise that we're going to see the same with USD yen at this point. USD yen could just make its way up here, whilst the DXY makes its move up there. You know, I think it's correlating well. It's just, yeah, it's making its move. Probably we might even extend a bit further. I wouldn't be surprised if we did start tapping into these higher areas here. Yeah, like I said, it's just in this very corrective price. Wouldn't touch anything at this point. If we do push up here, push back up, push down, create flag, cool. If we push extend, same situation up there. EA, there was a potential for a trade in there. I did want to opt in for it for sure. There was this like tight flag over here on open, but it wasn't something I wanted to go for. It looks like right now we are shaping up though for a trade, and more so, it's just been so corrective here. Well, I think what's happening is we might just catch people out, push up, create something like this, and then sell off. And I think that's something I'll go for sure. That's a trade I'll look for on EA for sure. Euro GBP, so I like it a lot. We've tapped into the low. We rejected from the low aggressively, but we haven't given any sort of clear entry yet. You know, we just been sort of doing all this, which sometimes is a quite a good sign because we're moving. We're not moving with too much aggression, but we're moving with some structures, and it looks like we are moving. So any sort of flagging territory, we're good for the go now. So waiting for that patiently, and then AU not yet ready, waiting for price to push to the high, push up, push back down, create a flag, and I'll be in for the short. And that's basically it for my watch list and wildcards. Obviously, right now, the only one that I'm really focusing on is EU. I would like to see EU just complete this And if we do get something like that, that could be something of interest. Obviously, I would like to see the depth of it, but more than likely, looking at how the DXY is moving, I don't think we'll get this at this point. I think what we might just see is price sell off a bit more, create something a bit tight, and then, or maybe something a little bit difficult to get involved on. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. More so, DXY is definitely where the prime focus is on. USD yen is really moving quite well with it, so I'll have to wait and see. JP225, just to finalize this, we're still correctively moving up. So that's one of the reasons why I'm fairly neutral with this, but more than likely, we just keep moving inside this channel. This just becomes another little correction, and we just keep evolving with it. Just keep evolving. Remember, like, sometimes with these structures, you can make money. You can actually make some decent capital. Don't just, think, okay, it's corrective. I'm going to let my guard down, stay sharp, because next thing you know, we do get something like this. But then when we're up here, we could actually take the short, and we could potentially move into this low and then see how this reacts to that, and maybe take the swing back up and so forth. Or if you wanted to, you could take this, and who knows, it could just drop off, create something a bit larger, push through, and then next thing you know, you're in this massive run, and you've positioned yourself so strategically that when price is down here, it's very unlikely that price is going to be gravitating all the way back up here. It's more than likely that we start aligning ourselves with the higher time frame, and we start seeing, okay, we're all the way down here. How are we going to get positioned to carry on with this run? So, little tip, obviously, don't let your guard down, stay sharp, and more so, make sure your attention is going in the right place, because right now you have to understand that people have been waiting months, myself included, weeks, for DXY Euro USD to shape up, especially that we are still waiting for DXY to complete this structure. But in order for us to get into a very well positioned entry, we're in that zone now. So you have to ask yourself, are you just going to wait for the short here, or are you going to strategically place yourself for the buy? Because then if this goes and then we don't get that sell-off that we were looking at, and this starts to revisit this level, would you be upset that you didn't take the entry here? You have to ask yourself those questions, because you could have. You really could have, with the anticipation, the planning, everything. So odds are you probably would have taken a decent amount of percentage out by then, or passed your funding challenge or whatnot, if you did position it and it committed. But obviously, those are the questions you have to ask yourself when you are looking at them. Is it worth the risk? Is it worth you missing the position? If you miss the position, do you have a valid enough reason for it? And yeah, that basically just covers my watch list and wildcards for this week. So if you have any questions, please drop a comment below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe and the like button, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Hey guys, so I did say I was going to end this video, but Choco had a question for me, which I thought, let me just add it into the end of the video. The question was basically high prob versus low probability trades. Right. Now, it's an interesting question, because I as well faced this some time ago, and I was like, how do I know what my high probability trades are and my low probability trades? Well, it comes with experience, number one, but also it comes into understanding your patterns, number one, as well. Like, for example, this trade we all know, 1, 2, 3, right? But let's say that you have a price like this, right? Does this become more high probability than this? That's a question, right? So instantly you already know the answer to this. Which one is more high probability? Well, this one, you have to understand that it can push up, come back down, create a flag, and then go. It can extend, it has opportunity. Yes, okay, it's a 1, 2, 3 completion, but this is trading into the middle of nowhere. So this can just continue going. and the next thing you know, create something larger, and then you have this sort of larger flag. So there's variations of what could happen here, but at least we have a reference point, which is what I'm really going with. You have a reference point. It's not only with this flag here, we also have the same with many other situations. Sometimes you get this smaller consolidation, and then price gets quite corrective, and then starts to squeeze, and then sells off. What did we have here? Well, number one, we had this section over here, and we had this corrective squeeze leading up to it. Okay, you wouldn't take the risk entry here. You wouldn't take the entry right at the top, because this, yes, even though that we have this small little liquidity area, this correction over here, this can still go above and keep going. So we wait for the push break the phase line. You could take the phase line, but it comes with a bit of risk, and wait for this entry. Then you take that and you get in for the short. Simple as that. Another entry here alone is, for example, let's say you have this very corrective price going down, right? And then price comes up, comes down, comes up, right? Now this one is sometimes a little bit tricky trading the expanding, because at first you could take this, you could take this, you could even go this way. You know, it comes with so many sort of variations. So the best thing to do is literally at that point there, draw the ray line on, wait for it to break above. It hits one of these inflection points, happens to be this one up here, or had a near miss, came back down, completed this structure. So we can say that was a near miss. So you can say, okay, this could possibly be an expanding, and price comes to the bottom. Same situation. You take your ray line, you put it down here, and then it breaks, pushes back in, creates a flag up here, and goes. You know, the thing is, right, it's not about being right or wrong. It's about positioning yourself correctly at the right time. And a lot of us will look for too much. Keep it very simple. Like, if you get a strong impulse followed by a correction in the middle of nowhere, it's not always a high probability trade, right? At the beginning, you're going to think it is, but it's not. Because, for example, in the grand scheme of things, and let's just pull up a chart quickly. Let's go to Aussie, New Zealand. Let me go to my back testing, and we'll pick something random. And let's go to Euro, US dollar. Let's go backwards, and let's just pick this time frame here. So, actually, you know what I'm going to do? After this upload, if you haven't seen it yet, I'm going to upload a back testing video, and I'm going to go through some back testing, and you're going to see the difference between what we just spoke about. So not going to keep this video on for too long. I'm going to create another video after this, and it's going to be to do with back testing.